On today's episode of Agency, I sat down with Dan Hakim. He's the CEO and founder of Australia's leading business networking app, Club of United Business, also known as CUB, and the Business Owners app, also known as BOA. These community and networking services enable Australian entrepreneurs to build real relationships with fellow leaders. Join us as we unpack the importance of focus and self-belief for business founders, the value of networking for early stage businesses, and so much more.
Really, what we did was very simple. We just made a great product in a market, a great service in a market that had bad service. Because if you don't have community, you literally die. When we were evolving, if you were in the jungle and you didn't have your team around, you didn't have the tribe with you, lions taking you out. Well, it's not networking. Networking is the action taken to get the desired result. The desired result is that you actually have friends that you know, trust, and admire that are in a similar position.
First and foremost, dude, welcome. Thanks for joining us here, and you're able to be the guinea pig of our new set.
No, I love it. I'm obsessed. I'm so jealous. I'm telling you, I'm taking photos of everything. I'm going to go set up just a studio just like this.
Yeah, you were having a look at the lights and where we got everything from, and yeah, we'll hook you up the links, man. Like the people that helped us.
Please,
Really
that'd be
great.
awesome.
So Dan, out of the gate, tall poppy. I think it's an interesting topic because you're heavily in the space of networking, and in a country that typically suffers from what we call tall poppy, and for those who don't know what that means, essentially there's a hesitancy to promote that you're doing well in our nation. For you, how do you develop two businesses in the networking space to overcome this?
Well, first of all, my advice would probably be the safest advice you could give someone regarding tall poppy is don't stand out and scream too much. Now, there is also a negative because by not having people stand out, there's not people that are inspiring others to do things. So it is a balance between it's probably better for society to have people stand out, but then the ones who do stand out are often then subject to additional efforts and works that they may not have had to do if they didn't stand out. So look, I think it's a problem. I think America is much better for business because, you know, not just success, but I think its accomplishment and hard work is celebrated there. And when people are confident because they worked hard and had accomplishment and they feel confident and they say that, they're also celebrated. Whereas here, if you feel great and you feel like a champion and you say, I'm a champion, they're like, nah, get out. That's not our culture. And look, some parts of me hates that, but also I do love this country and I love the culture of Australia. And so some parts of me love that because it does make us perhaps more humble as a nation. So I'm in the middle on it.
Yeah. Do you find that it hinders or helps the way you've navigated building two different companies that are really primed around networking and socializing between businesses?
Do I find... Sorry, what's the question? How
has tall poppy... Do you think it hinders the growth of this company or it's helped it in some kind of way?
No, I think it helps it because how do you not stand out? You go surround yourself with others in the same position, and so they need a way to find each other. If they can't stand out because no one's standing tall, well, where do I find everyone that's like me? Well, I better go to CUB because everyone's standing out. Everyone's the same height or everyone's above a certain height, so I think it's helped us tremendously. There's also a downside to that because perhaps there'd be more people that would take big risks to create businesses, which would make, if people did stand out and that, there were more examples of great business people, more people would get into business and therefore CUB would have more people to join the club. So there is a downside, but I think it's more so an upside because the people that do stand out want to go surround themselves with others in the same position because they won't be subject to, like scrutiny and all the other negative things that come with and also they don't feel lonely because if you're let's just say you're a business owner and you'll want to talk to your friends about your problems, but they don't own businesses. You might feel like you're coming across like a bit of a dickhead because they're not in the same position as you. And so it isolates you. You don't want to talk to your staff about your problems. You don't want to talk to your family about your problems because you're going to stress them out, and your friends might be not in the same position. So as a business owner, you're left in a situation where you got no one to talk to. And so you're isolated. So where do I go? Who do I talk to? They go to Cub because they're not standing out, because they are actually the average. At Cub, they are the general population. Everybody is like that. And it puts you in a winning circle. Like it's expected to be attempting to win because everybody around you is attempting to win.
And just for the viewers, could you explain, I guess, the strategy and the idea behind Cub and how that's different from maybe other business networking events? Like I was joking with you earlier that usually the networking events I've been to are in like a church that they hired on the weekend or in a community center and they got the pull-up banners, whereas Cub's a radically different concept.
Well, put simply, networking historically and in general sucks. Like you will find very few people that are like, I loved that networking event. That was fantastic. I met all great people, and it was, it's very rare. So, and I'm very grateful for that because it means I have a market, or my business is in a market that people that sucks. The competition is all bad. But people still use the competition because they need to network. It is essential. It is probably the most important thing you can do as a business owner is have a strong network. So there's a market where people need it, but it's not good. It's not giving them a good service. All Cub did was make networking beautiful and enjoyable. It made it nice. It created the premium way to network. So for the people who made it to a certain position in business, they had a really enjoyable, effective, and easy way to network that put them in a beautiful environment with really impressive people, with purposeful events that they don't have to be like, oh, where do I go? Who do I talk to? It's like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm here for. And there's a team that's actually kind of comforting me and guiding me through the whole process if I'm new. So really what we did was very simple. We just made a great product in a market, a great service in a market that had bad service.
I love that perspective. And I think the first experience I had a presupposition in my head when I went to Cub. And I'd only ever been to these community center events before for business. And I walk into Cub, it's on the 7th floor of the Louis Vuitton building. And you're overseeing the CBD in the city here in Sydney. And it's glamorous and people are handing you drinks and everyone's really kind and generous and it's a totally different experience. Where were you inspired to take that direction from? Was there a moment in time where you were like, I want to take it this way?
I just followed the market. Like when I started Cub, I was 23. I had just got back from Europe where there were members clubs and I spent some time there growing up. And I got back and I knew I wanted to be in business, but I wanted to meet more people in business essentially. And at that time I was like, I want to meet other young entrepreneurs. And so when Cub first started, it was like supposed to be for young entrepreneurs, and young entrepreneurs normally have earlier stage businesses, not businesses with millions in revenue. But very quickly, I realized that it's not the young early stage businesses that are coming to Cub. I had the wrong market in mind. It was the more established businesses that were looking to connect with others in the same position. The young people had like a lot of free things to go to, or they were in a co-working, or they were in an incubator, or there were communities for early stage business. But who didn't have a community were the people that broke through that stage. And when you first start a business, there's lots of people. It's like everyone has just started a business. But once you cross $1 million in revenue, you're like, whoa, where'd everyone go? Yeah, and then when you cross 10 million, you're like, whoa, shit, there's literally no one. And so those were the people that were looking for each other. They were time poor, they were busy, they didn't want a bad experience. They wanted to guarantee that if they rock up somewhere or if they show up somewhere, that the experience was going to be valuable and they're going to feel special because they've worked so hard people work hard to feel special. Like, I want a nice house, or I want nice things. When I fly, I want to feel comfortable. I don't want to be squished between two people. Like, that's why it's part of the reason anyway, and why I'm working so hard. So when they come to Cub, they feel special. When they walk in, everyone knows their name, they're guided, they're introduced to other really impressive people. So that's who came. And then the concept developed even further because we copied originally the overseas members club model, which is very much hospitality focused. So, we had a restaurant and service staff and things. I was losing too much money. It doesn't work in this country. Even just having a restaurant in general where anyone can come doesn't work in this country, let alone one where you stop everyone from coming. And there's a lot of factors that go into that I don't need to get into. But so basically I said, well, why are people joining? They're joining to build relationships with others in the same position. Well, we should not spend $1 on anything that doesn't do that. And that's what we did. And then we literally turned the concept from a traditional members club into a complete obsession into creating the best possible networking service. And once we did that, we really took off.
You seem to have a very acute awareness of how to observe people in a networking situation and shifting the dynamic to have them feel a certain way or experience something. And I believe this is why you've had so much success with the app and the events. Where does that come from?
People are very simple. In fact, they're the most simple thing in the world. And if we talk about communities, community is all about fitting in. You were telling me before about how everybody in your team knows that to fit in here, we need to have something that we're passionate about, and that we love creativity, and that we're obsessed about in and outside of work. That helps the team here fit in because it helps you find people that have creative passions, and it helps them amplify that at work, and that's celebrated. So your team obviously knows how to fit in. And that's all people want. They want to know how to fit in. So when someone walks into a networking event, and if everybody's sitting there really awkwardly and quietly and the energy's low, well, they feel like to fit in, I need to have low energy, because if I get big energy, I'm going to stand out, and I don't want to do that. So it's all about helping people fit in. And communities, but people need each other. People need community, because if you don't have community, you literally die. You die. When we were evolving, if you were in the jungle and you didn't have your team around, you didn't have the tribe with you, lions taking you out. It is happening. And for a less obvious example of that, there's a lot of studies that show that when kids don't have relationships, or their parents don't look at them, or when people are isolated, they literally go mental. We need community to survive. So we need each other. So then it's a question of how do we make sure they can fit in with this community? So because people are then wired to try to find out, how can I fit in to this community, because this community is going to make me stronger. And so it's all about not pre-vetting. It's all about kind of showing them how to fit in. And at Cub, we'll literally have inductions. So when they join, they're inducted. They're actually taught, this is how it works. This is what everyone's like. This is what's expected of you. This is how you do it. But when you're at events, it's all about the energy. It is all about energy. If you stand up and say a speech at an event, say, guys, today is relaxed. Don't be stressed. Don't worry about anything. They will not worry. They literally won't. You just need to tell people what is happening, and all of a sudden people have a big sigh of relief. Guys, be honest. Share your business problem, because if you're not honest about sharing your problem, no one's going to help you solve your problem. All of a sudden everyone starts sharing their problem. And so it really is about transparency of expectation as to how to fit into the community and what the purpose of the community is. And you can do that with anyone. It doesn't matter if they've just started a business or if they're literally the most successful person in the room. They want to know how to fit in. And it's your job, or it's our job as Cub or as Boa App, to help people do that. Because the better they fit in, the more successful they're going to be, the more helpful the community is going to be for them.
So in that case, when it comes to the community for a business owner, and before we started, you were talking about businesses like going down a river. Mm-hmm. And it's a game of survival versus rapid expansion. And if someone's growing a business and they're noticing, I'm doing really well and I have fewer and fewer people I can talk to. I can't talk to my family because I don't want to stress them out. I can't talk to my colleagues or my employees because I don't want to freak them out. Why is networking in a community a great resource for a business owner? Like, how should they think about it? Why is it going to help them?
First of all, it's not networking. Networking is the action taken to get the desired result. The desired result is that you actually have friends that you know, trust, and admire that are in a similar position. Now, the only way you're going to actually do that is by putting yourself in a position to find those people. And that's what networking is. We're not in the networking business. We're in the relationship building business. We basically make friends between business owners for a living. That's what we do. Because when someone's friends with you, when you like someone, I'll go out of my way to help you. You don't even need to ask me for help. But if I think there's someone you should meet, that I'll do that because I like you. We're friends. Right? If I'm sitting in a room with someone and they ask for help and I can help them there, I'll do it. Because we're all business owners and we're here and whatever, and I'm a good person, and that's what the community expects of us. But when you're actually friends with someone, you get a lot deeper, and it becomes this proactive thing. So, if you've got just 10 friends, like 10's a lot, and it's powerful. If you've got 10 friends that are all successful in business, and they're your real friends. This isn't just like I met them once at an event. This is like I call them and ask them questions. We're texting a lot. Like they're sharing things. We go to my farm together, which is what I do with a lot of my good friends from Cub. That's what makes you stronger. And that's when you sit there and you're like, whoa, I'm having a real big issue or problem, and they're like, okay, like this happened to me. That's how I resolved it. Like, but your business is a bit different. So it's the relationship. It's the relationships is the goal, and they make you stronger because you literally have more people to help you and who care about you. It's like, are you stronger with or without your family? Right?
With, absolutely with.
And look, there's some people that don't have strong families, and that's incredibly sad because it is a disadvantage. When you've got people around, families can be, custom built as well. Like some people, their friends are like their family. But when you've got a group of people around you to support you and motivate you and to catch you when you fall, like that is incredibly powerful. Now, having a network of business people to do the same thing is exactly the same thing, but it's for your business because your family can't help catch you when that happens, but they can. And that's why it's important.
I really like the thought process behind that because for me, my experience has been every time my business kind of scales, I kind of start to find that I'm more wanting to spend time with people who think like me. And I think life can be frustrating if you're not around people who think and feel the way you think and feel. And I think I like what you said. It's about building relationships. A famous quote from Jim Rohn is, you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are you seeing a substantial change in the business industry in Australia because of like what you're creating with this? Like what has been the impact you've seen so far?
Well, look, I would like to think we've had that big of an impact, but the truth is we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of space to cover. Now, I've seen a tremendous impact in the lives of our members and the 23,000 business owners we serve across the country. Without a doubt, we get messages saying, thank you so much for what you do for business. And that's regular, especially on BOA app, which has made high quality networking and advisory accessible to all entrepreneurs, regardless of their state. It could be your first day in business, or regardless of where they're located. So yes, no, I don't think we've impacted the Australian business landscape yet, but we've certainly impacted the lives of thousands of business owners for the better. And I challenge anyone, it doesn't matter if you're a business owner, whatever your passion is, right? You could be a biologist. Go make friends with 10 other exceptional biologists and watch your life get better. Just watch it get better. You could be a runner. You could be like a 100-meter sprinter. You could be a drummer. It doesn't matter what you are. But if you want to be great at something, you need to surround yourself with other people who are working towards being great at something, at that thing, in fact, because that's really when you're gonna like every step they take is a step you take, and that means you. It's kind of like when you walk through an airport and you get in that mad magic carpet and you're walking twice the speed. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. That's the feeling of having a great network.
Yeah.
We should use that on our website for marketing. That's a great
good one.
That's a
Yeah.
great analogy.
I like that. No, I think it's important because it's almost like biologically we're wired to be tribal creatures. And if we're living in isolation, it's just a weird biological thing to do.
Yeah, we're not even wired.
We're
we
not
just
even programmed.
are.
Yeah.
We are. We literally die without it. You need it. It
Yeah.
is essential. And it is, there's only two things that, like I've met, my full-time job is meeting successful people. It is literally what I do for a living. I've met most of the like country's billionaires, many of which are mentors and involved in Cub and what we're doing in some way. I've met successful people from different generations. I've met people that are successful from migrating overseas, people that were born here, men, women, people that different industries, different philosophies. There's no one path to success. Anyone can be successful, but there's only two things that every successful person has in common. Only two, literally. And if someone finds me a third, I'd be really happy. But there's only two I've ever found. The first is their work ethic. You are not getting anywhere in life unless you work hard. It doesn't matter what you do. You're not getting anywhere. The second is they all have a strong network. All of them. You will not find a successful person who does not have a good network around them of other successful people. They find each other. It is the superpower. And just to reiterate that, you could literally be an orphan with one leg that never had a family and can't speak English in Australia. And there is still a path to success. If they really want it, they will find it. But they will have a strong work ethic, and to get there, they will have built a strong personal network.
From your perspective, to build that network, if someone's listening to this and they're thinking to themselves, okay, I want to surround myself with the right people, what should someone's approach be? Because I've been at networking events before and it just feels like they're trying to pitch you or sell you something. Is there a conduct or an approach that you are like, these are the golden rules to how to like build relationships with people?
Yeah, well, first of all, don't try to sell. Because when you try to sell, it's desperate. It's like, well, you're obviously not successful. You're trying to sell to me. Like the first thing you're doing is trying to take my money. I obviously don't like you now, but you don't try to take my money, and then at least we can start. So that's first. Trying to sell is like a sign of desperation. You obviously don't have enough sales, which means your business obviously isn't good enough, which means I probably don't want to talk to you. Because if I'm trying to meet people on my level, you're obviously not it. So that's the first thing. The second, really, it's just about being a good person. Like, people want to be friends with good people. They want to know who they are. They want to know what they like about their family, why they started their business, the value that they bring. Like, being good at networking is also about being a valuable person. It's about being a good person, because good people there's back and forth. Like, we're good to each other. And therefore, if you were bad and I was good to you and then you were bad to me, I'm obviously not going to keep being good to you. So there is the good person first, but the second is value. Like, what value do you bring as a person, as a business owner? And the more valuable you become, the better your network gets, because then more valuable people want to then associate more with you. You're going onto their level. So you start moving up the value food chain. But how networking should be looked at is, I just want to have people that I like in my circle. It shouldn't be about like, oh, how successful you are. It really is first, like, I really like you. I'm friend. I would love to be your friend. You're a great person. Like, you've got a great family, or you got a great whatever. I love your passion, and you're just a good person. And you also happen to be a great business owner. But networking should always be just about trying to create call it a genuine relationship. Friendship is like the way I like, but genuine relationship.
Yeah.
Should be how it's looked at. Don't be desperate. Trying to hustle me for a sale. It's like, if someone tries to take your money, the first conversation you have with them, you're obviously not going to like them, or trust them, or respect them. I should stop. I should stop.
No,
don't do that.
I think this is important because, There seems to be an energy exchange at these events, whether I've spoken on stage and got off the stage and then people are talking to me. There's always an energy exchange in an initial conversation where you don't know someone. And you're trying to, it's like you're courting each other. You're like, what is the dynamic here? You know, I think giving values a tremendous start to that relationship, because then that person's like, oh, they're contributing. It's the law of reciprocity. They're not trying to take, they're trying to give. What are some things that people could consider giving a network? If I'm in a room with millionaires and I'm like at 100,000, like what can I possibly offer them?
Well, it's not about, so you also don't want to go up to people and be like, how can I help you? You know, because it's like, well, how can I help you? Like, get out of my face. Like, so you don't want to do that. So what's the question? It's how can you, well, to contribute value is about, first of all, you got to remember that business owners all have something in common. They've all taken a risk to start a business. So rather than focusing on the value, like saying this is my value, talk about, discover the other person's business, why they started, like where the business is now, what are the problems they're currently having, by you sharing your story and talking about your business, they will identify the value. It's not your job to say, this is my value, I'm an expert in this. Like, because when someone says, I'm an expert in this, you're like, well, I don't trust you anymore. Like, you know, when someone says something about themselves, you don't trust them. If someone else says it, you trust them. If you let someone understand your value themselves, they construct your value. It's a lot more powerful. Now, if you've got 100,000 in revenue, but you're building something really unique, and you're talking to someone super, you know, one of the most successful people in the country, and that person sees, wow, this person's building a really unique business. They've already gotten to, you know, 100,000 revenue doing this. They will see this person's the next generation of me. You know, they'll see, like, value isn't where you are now. Value is where you could be. And a lot of value is based on who you are as a person and do I believe you have what it takes to get somewhere? That is real value. Like when I talk to people now, a lot of them, you know, yeah, we've built great businesses, but we're not where I want to be. I'm just a speck of what I want to be. Yeah, and a speck to a lot of the people that you know, mentors and things I have. They're not here now for me because they're like, oh, wow, like he's so valuable. Look what he's built. They're here now because they're like, wow, I want to be a part of this. I believe this person's going to do something tremendous. And I want to be around for that. You know, so a lot of it is not about even your business, it's about you as a person. If you have beat the odds and you came from a bad area and whatever, you know, I want to keep giving random examples of things, but if you beat the odds and you went from 0 to 4, and that 0 to 4 journey out of 100, that 0 to 4 was an impressive journey. Like, wow, I can't believe you did that. That is showing personal value. You know, so it's not just about the business you've built yet, because your business might be small. It's about you. You know, and the only way someone's going to learn about you is by asking about them, and then they'll ask about you, and you just share your story. And don't big note yourself. Don't, you know, there's no need for it. Just share the true story, and you can even share what your ambitions are, what you're trying to do, and if they will construct the value themselves.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you know, the book How to Win Friends and Influence People talks about how to facilitate a conversation for that individual, and that.
Most important book anyone can ever read. In fact, the best part of that book is saying people's name. Is where it says the power of just saying someone's name.
It's their favorite word.
It's their favorite word. It is so true. I walk around events with 2 team members next to me to tell me the names of the people that are coming. There's thousands of people. I obviously don't know them all, just so I can say their name. Because when they hear their name, if they're not expecting you to know their name, it's like, whoa, I feel special. You know, honestly, that's actually a great tip just for networking. If you remember people's name, and if there's like a round table, group of 10 people, write down everyone's name. Because when you start saying their names, they will like you instantly.
I agree. It's an instant rapport builder. And I saw a talk where a guy named Eric Worre was talking about, he was on a flight, and the whole flight, he was just interested in that person, and they were successful in business. And when they were leaving the flight, they said to Eric, "You're the most interesting person I ever spoke to." And Eric realized I didn't tell him anything about me. I allowed that person to share their story.
People love talking about themselves.
Yeah.
Even me, like everybody does. Like I
Like
go
right
like,
now,
yeah.
yeah.
Like right now, literally, I'll just keep rambling. Like if I didn't know I had to stop, I could literally rant on what I know or what my beliefs on networking are for literally an hour. Like people love to talk about themselves, and when you're able to give someone that opportunity, and that if they're a good person, they'll turn the table as well, and they'll go back to you. And that's the start of a relationship. And also that's the start of, like you said, of showing value.
When it comes to the actual community itself, let's just say I'm an entrepreneur, I'm up and coming, I plug myself into a community and I'm giving value in some way, shape, or form. What are the typical things that you see happen in that individual's business because of the injection into the network or community?
The very first thing is they feel safer. And by safer, I mean, oh no, my like right now, my sales aren't good. Money's not moving enough. Is it just me? Is my business, everyone else's business looks fine. So why am I, is something wrong with me or something wrong with my business? But then you talk to 3 other business owners that, in your network or and they say, yeah, my sales are bad too. You're like, oh, okay, I'm normal. Everything's fine. It's not just me. That's the very first thing. So you'd call that like relatability. That's the first. The second, or there's only 2 others really. One is personal growth of the person. You're just going to get smarter because you're learning about all different businesses, different topics, how people handle things and all that. And then the other one is you just make more money because the more people you know and the more people respect you and like you, the more clients you get. And that could come from them referring people to you. It could come from like using them at like mentioning, oh, I'm friends with this person, and people are like, oh, that's a quite established person. If they're friends with them, I should work with them too, or whatever it is. But you will, or someone wants to work with you and speak to this person about me. It's social proof. So they do get more. They do get more sales at Cub. We've got interesting statistics on that. I can't be 100% certain about them being evidence for what I'm about to say, but I'm pretty certain. And that is that the longer someone's a member at Cub, the less engaged they get in the club. So the less they actually attend, the higher their retention. So the higher the retention rate of that person. So they're more likely to stay. They get less engaged. And a large part of the reason of that is they're getting pushed further and further into the center of this network, right? So they're pushed, all these new members are coming in every year, and as the longer you're getting pushed more and more in the center, your relationships are getting denser, you're better known, you're better, you've got a stronger tie to the community. And what ends up happening is they put less effort to get more result. So they don't even have to show up anymore because when people say, I'm looking for someone to do this, someone in the network says, oh, you've got to speak to Daniel or Dane. He trusts me. He's the best person to speak to. And they'll make the introduction for you. So they're probably getting more business with less effort because they've committed to building a network over a long period of time, because it's not about a network. It's about relationships and building your presence. Like people know who you are. There's trust. So relatability, personal growth, and more sales. Those will happen. They won't happen instantly. Not all of some will, and in some cases can. But really, you should commit to 2 to 3 years of putting yourself in a position to actually build relationships to then see a tremendous spike in those things.
I like how you look at it from a perspective of, I'm not here to generate leads, I'm here to build relationships. And by osmosis or proximity and people knowing you over time, you become more evident in the community and more referred to, and then you've established yourself. I liken this to, real estate agents. They typically have a miserable first few years, but once they set up a network, they're killing it.
Yeah, that's the same with anyone. And if you're looking for the sale won't find you. The sale finds those who, in a networking situation anyway, the sales will find those who are good people and are talking to people genuinely and are saying their name and are asking them questions about themselves. Sales is also a game of like, do I like this person that's selling to me? If I don't like the real estate agent, I'm not going to use them. So if they don't like you, they're not going to use your service. So you have to be a good person and not try to sell to be liked. And then when the time comes that they need that, or someone in their friends or network needs it, they're going to send it to you. It's really to be honest, it's just being a good person.
Yeah.
Is the key to networking.
For you, was there a defining moment to create the infancy for what you're doing now? Like, did you have an experience at an event that wasn't great? Or like what led to you going, you know what? And I've got a quote here. It said, "My goal is to build the largest network of business owners in the country." At what point did this spark kindle into a flame?
Well, my goal was originally to build the most prominent premium business networking platform. So like the pinnacle of business networking. That was my original goal. And that's what Cub is. Cub is the best way, the most premium way for someone to, for an accomplished entrepreneur to build valuable relationships with others in the same position. That goal changed to being the largest network of business owners in the country, in the world, but we want to start in the country. When we realized there's a lot of barriers to entry for us to serve someone at Cub. And we don't just love the accomplished entrepreneurs, business owners. We love all of them. I love the people that are just thinking about starting a business. And so we wanted to create platforms or a platform to be able to serve these people, a way for them to reap the benefits that Cub members get for themselves. So an accessible way for them to do it. And that's what BOA is, Business Owners App. It's literally an app, a platform that is making high quality networking and advisory accessible to entrepreneurs at all stages. And that vision changed because, we got so good at doing the premium stuff that we're scaling that with clubhouses in every city of the country. We got so good at that, we said, well, we're not serving everybody that we want to serve. We want to serve all entrepreneurs. And they're reaching out to us saying, hey, I can't afford a Cub, or I'm not eligible yet. Is there a way I can get involved? And, we were saying no. And, that hurt. A, it hurt because it's not good for business. But B, it hurt because it wasn't helping somebody. So right now, then, our goal is to be the largest network of business owners in the country. But once we do that, which won't take us long, our goal will be to be the largest network of business owners on the planet. And visions grow with accomplishment. Once you accomplish something, you're like, okay, wait a second, I can actually accomplish the next thing. And because your confidence grows. If I had said that at the very start of my business, I probably would have scared myself out of saying it. I would be like, I'm not that confident yet. But as you overcome adversities and you accomplish goals, your confidence grows. And the more your confidence grows, the more doors become unlocked, because when you believe you can do something, you actually can do it. It's really just about earning your own confidence to believe that you can do something so that you're actually able to unlock that door and then go do it. And that's how our vision changed from being the most prominent premium platform to being the largest network.
One thing that I really love about Cub and BOA is I understand that there's the two tiers. So you have Cub, which is the more premium end, and then BOA, which is like, hey, let's just get anyone who's interested in business in here and let's plug them in. The team behind what you've created are phenomenal. Like the first thing I said to my guys was like, the team here are like wholesome and friendly and like going out of their way to make sure people feel comfortable. How do you facilitate a culture like that in a company? Because I'm hearing a lot in the market that people are struggling to cultivate good culture in their businesses.
The most important thing that the biggest contributor to success in a business is the team. It really is. And you could maybe say after the business owner, because the business owner has to create the team and create that culture. So shout out to the business owners. But after that, it really is the team. So I think that's important to mention, that it's the most important thing that you have. Now, how do you create a culture that is high performing? Well, I'll mention first that Cub has 100% staff retention for over 4 years. That means
100%.
No one's left Cub in 4 years. We've had to remove a couple people. Not because they weren't good people, just they weren't the right fit for whatever role. But no one's ever left Cub in over 4 years. So we do have a great, like, our team is strong. We have done a good job. How it's strong is probably around our philosophy. We're in the people business. So we literally are in the community business. We need people to stay in the club. Otherwise, we don't make any money. So we need team members to also stay. If we can't make our team members stay, our members aren't going to stay. And my philosophy around leadership for that is, I'm trying to summarize. I got a lot of thoughts in my head. I'm trying to summarize, like, in my head.
Let's unpack all
a
of
short
them.
way to. I told you guys I talk a lot. And
No, this is really, like, let's go deep, man, because I
Yeah.
think this is really important
I
for
like
people.
this topic a lot.
Yeah, let's unpack it.
So, first of all, I don't view first of all, as a leader, people need to be like, I'm better off with that person than I am without them. That's the most important thing. Because if they feel better off with you, they're not leaving you no matter what, right? If they'll only leave you when it's like, you know what, I'm going to be better off over there with that person or with that team or with that opportunity, or that's the only time they're leaving. If they have so much confidence in their leader and their leader's great and makes them feel special and they're growing as a person and they're supported in family and life and at work and in life, and they're not leaving, which means that as a leader, you need to make them confident. You need to be competent as a leader. They need to see proof that you are going to achieve. They need to believe as much as you believe that you're going to achieve what you're going to achieve. Because if they believe that and the vision is big, in their head, they're like, well, there's so much, there's more opportunity here than there is for me at any other company. So that's kind of the first thing. The second thing is a combination, actually. I mean, I want to say, I look at our team as a team in life, not as a work team. We are a life team. We do life together. I don't believe in work-life balance and all this crap. It's just life. And you've got to dedicate yourself to something. You know, you can have you can dedicate yourself to family and you can dedicate yourself to work. That's fine. But you need a dedication. And so why I say it's a life team is because we're all using this company to build our lives. We're using it to financially. We're using it for mental stimulation. We're using it for personal growth and development. We're using it to be part of something that we can be proud of. When something goes wrong at home, if I come to work and I say, this has happened, and my team supports me on that, and my team helps me through that, like it's you're creating an artificial family in a sense. And I say artificial because it's not the actual family, and it is artificial in that it's you choose who's in the family and who's not. It's a chosen family. And I think as a company, if a company's doing well, it should be like everyone's rich dad, or mum. It's like, you got a problem, bring it to the company, they'll solve it. You get kicked out of your apartment because the rents are all going up. Well, first of all, if you need a lawyer, we'll pay for your lawyer to sort out your landlord. Or if you need to move, don't worry about moving. We're going to help you find the moving company, the truck, we'll pay for it. Just don't worry about it. Just, they need to know that they can come to the company, because if they're dedicating their life to this company and they're working as if they have ownership in this company, then that company has the right to give those people back that same level of respect and ownership. Yeah. If something bad happened to me, well, the company's helping me. So therefore, if something bad happens to one of my team, only the team members that work with that type of dedication, I'd do it for everyone, to be completely honest, but it's the truth. But I'd like to say for the ones who work with that type of dedication, that if something happens in their life, they know that this team and this company have my back. The only problem with that is that you can only do that when you're a successful company. And so it's the chicken or the egg. Do you have the successful team first, the successful company? So when you're first starting, it's a weird cycle. But if you don't have the money to help people, well, you can't help them. Or if you do, you got to do it manually. But everybody needs help with personal support anyway. So funds aside, just having a team you can go to where there's a problem and they'll talk to you and they'll support you in life, I just think it's endlessly valuable. Because let's say my friendship circle's gone to shit or my family's crazy. If I come to work and I just feel loved and supported, I'm like, wow, thank God I have this. Imagine if I lost this. right now, and my my family life's a bit messed up at the moment, and I haven't got time for my friends, or it's COVID, I can't even see them anyway. And I come to work and I just feel loved and supported. Like, it's just, they're not leaving. If I feel loved and supported, and I know that we're going somewhere and I'm going to be part of going there, which means I've got opportunity, no one's leaving. They just will never leave. And then the only other thing that I want to throw on it, which we do exceptionally well, is we push people to push themselves. It's almost a mandatory to work super hard at Cub and Boa, and not just work. We'll just say Cub because it's one thing. It's almost mandatory to work super hard, and it's also we don't force them to do it. It's expected. It's part of our community rules. Yeah, as a team, they know even before they join. We tell them that, and it's also mandatory to push yourself. If you're terrified of public speaking, which is often the case with our team, and you get up and you say a speech in front of a bunch of business owners for the first time, our team lose our minds. We clap. We go fucking ballistic. It's the best thing ever. It makes my day. It makes my whole week. It makes the year, because that person's just done something. It sounds small, but it's not. So they need to be encouraged they've overcome a big adversity, and they need to be encouraged to not just overcome their adversities, but it needs to be celebrated so you throw a fucking party for it, because it's that big. Because when people start overcoming their adversities, they get more confident. In the same way the business owner gets more confident when they do theirs, overcome theirs, or when they accomplish things. Now that person's like, shit, like, whoa, I just did my first speech. What else can I do? Then they start interviewing people like this, which actually happened yesterday with one of our team. She called me and she said, I'm real nervous. I didn't even know she was interviewing someone. She was interviewing like a really well-known businesswoman in front of a group of other businesswomen, like all very successful. I didn't even know she was doing it. So she's got so much, like the environment's so good for her that she just booked herself into that. And then she told me an hour before, and I said, it's good to be nervous. Like, that means you're pushing yourself. It means you're doing something that you're going to overcome. So when your team start feeling better and more confident, it's like, wow, I'm actually capable of things I actually didn't think I was capable of before I joined this team. Imagine that feeling. Like, their friends or family might not even give them that feeling, and then they've earned it. You tell them, you earned that. I didn't do that. You did that. Like, people don't leave. So like, personal growth and personal confidence, increase in personal value. And you know how you'll know when that's happening? They start having relationship problems. They're honest to God. If it's a young woman starts doing super, super well, and it's changed the dynamic of their relationship. I swear this is real. It happens. Their relationship dynamic changes. All of a sudden, woman or man, whatever. But they're this really confident, strong person. They're the breadwinner now, or they're the one that's stable. They're the one that's working really hard, and it throws out their other relationships because their personal value increases. Like, they're better human beings. Or I don't know if you can say better human beings, but you know what I'm saying. Like, the way they view themselves is higher, and so they start to demand more from the world because they deserve it. They've earned it. I don't know. We went into a real big.
This is really good.
No,
like, amazing. Like, I think there's so many layers to what you've just unpacked there, but I really love what you talked about when they're doing so well at work that their relationships start to change. What do you think that is that really creates that, and what could someone do about it? Because I think a lot of people go through this experience. They start a business and all of a sudden their friends are like, you're too busy to hang out with us anymore.
Get new relationships. They're not for you. If it depends on you. Like you said, the 5 people you hang around or whatever. If I hang around 5 drug dealers, I'm going to be a drug dealer. I can assure you. It's happening. Like, my 5 best friends are all drug dealers. You tell me I'm not going to be a drug dealer? Of course I'm going to be a drug dealer. That's all I know. Everyone's doing it. It's normal. It's not bad. So so I don't know how that relates to what I was just about to say. But when you grow as a person, you end up surrounding yourselves with other people that are, I don't want to say on your level, just in the same space. There are other people who are working really hard, or other people who do have a lot of self-confidence. And if your relationship starts breaking down because of that, it's probably because you've outgrown that person. And it's really sad to say. I shouldn't even be saying that, but
It's kind of funny.
well, it's true.
It's true.
It's like you should never get in a relationship if you're feeling bad about yourself, ever. If you are depressed or sad or you're not feeling great, you're out of shape because you haven't been feeling good or whatever, don't get in a relationship then. You're going to sell yourself short. Get in a relationship when you feel crash hot, when you feel your value's high, because you're going to find someone that you think is equal to you, that it's a good transaction, it's a good relationship. And at work, if people progress really well, they might have gotten a relationship. I really shouldn't be talking about people's relationships, but I'm not talking about our specific team members. I'm just saying in general this happens.
Yeah.
But if you get into a relationship and you're one person, and then over a period of 3 years you evolve and flourish into this new person, that can obviously have an effect. And I mean, my response would be get a new relationship. But that may or may not. I'm not a relationship expert, so I wouldn't be trusting me.
Dude, we're down a deep rabbit hole right now, and I love it. So an original concept behind Cub is, and is still today, you call it a business family. I know you've unpacked this a bit, but what do you mean by a business family? Because oftentimes people say it the other way, where they talk about it as a family business. Like, we behave like a family business,
Well, to be honest, business family was the concept. I don't even know if we'd call it that anymore. A business family was the concept at the very start, which meant that we wanted to create a community of people who actually care about each other. And that's still what we want to do. I don't know if that's the best description of it in general, because you are stuck with family, which is a beautiful part about family. But that is the concept. The concept was to create a group of people. To create your third community. So you've got your family, you've got your friends, and then you've got Cub. You've got your business family. That was how we created that concept. It could have been business friendship circle. It could have been whatever. I went with business family because family's the most important thing in my life, and I think it's the thing that's given me the lessons and ability to create communities, because I understand what it means to be part of a loving, to be part of a strong family who prioritize relationships with each other and being there for each other and staying together. So I really do feel like that's crossed in. So I use the family word, but that's essentially why. It's your third community. It's your community for business.
So speaking of family, earlier we were talking about how the dynamic of a business as a life form, let's imagine a business as a life form, it exists beyond the first owner. And you were talking about how the person who builds the first variation of a business versus the child who inherits the business, the second generation, and then the third. You were describing to me that your family were in the field of building businesses, and you're seeing yourself as the second generation.
Yes. Well, yes, definitely. So what's the question?
For someone like yourself who's a second generation business builder, what's your perspective on that? And is that helping you, or is it a hindrance, or is there a bit of both?
No, it's a massive help. It's a massive help. If you were fortunate enough to grow up in a family of business, or that had business, and you're going to get in business yourself, you have a huge advantage. I had a huge advantage. I have a huge advantage. Now, what you need to do is, but you also have a huge drive. Because you're like, well, if they can do it with nothing and they can achieve that, or surely I don't think I'm less than, I'm not less than my dad. I'm more than my dad. I can do more than that, or more than my parents. Sorry, I can do more than that. I should do much more. I should do 10 times more than that, because I started, it was easier for me. So it's also a huge drive. But generational business is very interesting, because Cub is mostly first generation business people, first or second, but it's mostly first, because your first generation of business is when you're looking for that network of other people, because your existing community isn't that community, so you're searching for it. The first generation of business is the most special. They're the special ones. They're the real business people. I'm not. Yeah, the second isn't. Right? We're the ones that got lucky. The first, I don't think I could be a first. First, it takes an incredibly special person.
What do you think that person is?
Oh, there's someone that's willing to sacrifice so much with nothing in return for so long until at the very end they get it, and then they die. It's literally like that. By the time at the end when they get it, they can have a great life through, but they've got a lot of sacrifice with very little, and they've got to start so small. They've got to start with nothing. They're starting literally like there's nothing there.
Like bootstrapping, like pension pennies. Trying to do deals and
they're really it's sacrifice. They sacrifice their families. How many people do you hear? I didn't spend time with my kids. My dad's the best, but I didn't see him from the age of like 6 to 18. And I never had an issue with that because I really I loved watching what he was doing. I really respected it, and I had a lot of my shit. So there was. I felt special. Oh, my dad looks special. I want to be special. Like, it also sets a good example. But could I have done what he did? Well, like, not him specifically, but could I have been that first person? Look, I'd like to think so, but I don't know. It takes a special person. The second person, fortunately, is the one that normally takes it to the next level. They do the big. They expand. Whether it be the family business or their own business, but it's like when ultimate ambition meets ultimate opportunity and like support, basically. It explodes. It works. They've got the advice, they've got the network, they've got the funds, they've got the person to encourage them to do it. They've got everything. If they fail, they suck. They shouldn't be in business because they've got too much. The third generation is different. By the third generation, it's about preservation. They don't have ambition, don't have innovation, don't touch anything actually, because don't screw up this great position we're already in. And and I got a lot of friends in that position, and that position's very scary too, because it's like, oh, I don't want to be the one that drops the baton.
Yeah.
And that's a really difficult position. And they've learned a lot. They know so much about business. They're incredibly intelligent and incredibly good at what they do and what their business craft is. And their family might have been doing whatever they're doing for so long that they really are the best at doing it. But they've got they've got something to lose. And when you've got something big to lose, you're a lot less likely to make a big decision on it because you do not want to be the one that loses it. So business as an organism, it changes.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's, the risk and reward changes over time. In the beginning, you're sacrificing everything, and the reward is so small. And then in the middle, like you said, in the second generation, that's kind of the Goldilocks zone, if you will.
Yeah.
What's your advice to someone who's second generation and maybe they're potentially inheriting a business, but they're not sure if it's for them or not?
Second generation has the ego problem. It's the first generation, you're actually not risking anything. You got nothing to lose. It's like, I may as well just do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the second generation's like, oh, well, like I'm kind of in a good position now, but if I do it and I fail, everyone's going to laugh at me. So they've got like the ego problem. And I'm talking like they might not be taking over a family business. They might be starting their own business, but they've got a problem. It's more of, how are other people going to think of me if I fail? When you start with nothing, who gives a shit? I've got nothing anyway. I may as well try. When you're the second, it's like, okay, if I try, people might laugh at me and they might then think I'm stupid. They might not, they might, whatever that goes through people's head. If it doesn't work out, I'm not going to look good. My response to all business people, regardless of if you're starting a new business, is to start. Doesn't matter what, if you're starting with nothing or if you're starting with something, just start. Because like you said, business is like a river. Every river starts somewhere, and it's not just a straight line. It's not like, okay, I'm going to jump in this river and it's going to lead me straight to the fucking ocean here. It will get to the ocean, but it's not straight. It's doing this.
Yeah.
I don't know, rivers that do figure eights, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's doing some stuff.
Zags, yeah.
And there's always a path to success. No, you will never run into a scenario that is the end. There is always a path to success. It's a question of you finding that. And trust me, someone else has done it before you. They're not smarter than you. You can do it. It's a question of you believing you can do it. And so therefore, business isn't a risk. it's a question of time. It's how long is it going to take me to hit the ocean and get all the fish? You know, how long is it going to take me? It's not a question of risk, question of time, as long as you've got the right mentality. What is the risk is not starting. If you do not start, you will not jump in the river. If you don't get in the river, you aren't getting to the ocean. So you just need to jump in. And that's the scariest part. It's the part no one does. No one starts. You know, when you start, you should tell the whole world what you're doing. Because when you tell everyone what you're doing, the world starts giving you what you need. People, oh, you talk to this person, do this. Oh, actually, I'll support you. Like I'd love to be a first client. Like, you'd be amazed what happens if you just have the courage to start and to tell everyone you've started. Starting is not telling anyone, though. It's not like I'm going to start in the quiet. That's not starting. You know, starting is just yelling to the world what you're doing and why. That is really starting. That's what gets you in the river. And then it's literally a question of time. You know, and I've been speaking to a lot of early stage businesses, with BOA, and a lot of them are freaking out that, you know, a lot of early stage businesses freak out that, it's still not working. It's still not going well. I still haven't done this. Do you know how long it takes for a business to feel like it's working? It literally takes 5 years. And then you kind of feel like you're working, but you're not, you know, but you think you are. You know, it takes a long time for a business to work. It's not supposed to work at the start. At the start, you're not good at business. You can't be good at business. It's like just getting up and running without running before. You know, it's the same. That's the most overused thing, you know, crawl before you walk and all this. But it's true. Like, you're going to be shit at business. And you're also going to be shit as a leader because you never led anyone before. You know, so you need to learn how to be a great leader. You need to learn how to do business. You need to learn your specific industry of business. Even at 5 years if you did jiu-jitsu for 5 years, you'd be good, but you wouldn't be great. Do it for 20.
Yeah.
You know? So it's don't be hard. People are so hard on themselves. Everyone's like, oh, my business is not working. This didn't work, so I'm trying this. I'm doing this at the same time. Like, you know, it will work. Just calm down. Like, give yourself a break. And it's the journey. It's about survival. It's not about trying to be rich now. It's about doing something long enough that eventually, and sacrificing long enough that eventually it will start to serve you. You know, it will work for you. But it's not going to for the first while. That's the unfortunate thing, but also the fortunate thing about starting a business.
I can relate. You know, we're year 5 here at Rival, and I was saying to our general manager yesterday, Jared, I was like, I feel like everything's really starting to work now. And it's like year 5, and it's, you know, we joke that we put fires out all the time, and we're always trying to like recalibrate everything. And I also joked with a client the other day, I'm like, building a business is like learning how to play the flute. Like, you're going to sound awful for the first, like, you know, like those memes where they're playing the flute. It just sounds horrendous.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
You're going to be terrible.
At 5 years, you actually do feel like, okay, I think we got it. Like, and at 5 years, you're like, okay, we got something. I mean, you guys have done exceptionally well in 5 years. Like, your size of your team and the culture and the stuff you do is out of this world. So people shouldn't have to, like, never compare yourself to other businesses, because if people compare to what you've done in 5 years, it might make them feel bad. But that doesn't mean in 10 years you're going to be more successful than them. Everyone's journey is different. You know, they could just hit the switch in year 8, and by year 10 they're this monster company, and you're still the same size. You know, so that's why it's not good for people to compare where other people are, because there's, like, look at the journeys of, like, McDonald's or Nike, or, like, has anyone, you know that Shoe Dog book?
Yeah.
If anyone read that book, I would have killed myself if I was Phil Knight, because it took so long for Nike to do anything good. Like, It was just so much shit happening all the time. Like, I was like, of course he made it, because he never stopped. That's why he made it. Most people eventually you hit enough hurdles, you're stopping. It's going to deter people. That dude did not stop. He just kept going until eventually he was just the biggest shoe company. You know, and if he compared himself to you, for example, he would have thought he was doing a shit job in year 5, because he was probably still broke and nothing worked. And I'm not trying to rag on you. You're doing exceptional.
No, dude, I get it, man.
Do you get what I'm saying?
It's important, because I think comparison can really kill your mojo.
Yeah, don't compare. Compare yourself to yourself. Every month you should feel like an idiot the month before.
Yeah.
Like, I sucked. Thank God I'm not that person anymore.
Like, man, who was the guy running my company last month?
Yes.
That guy's an idiot.
I love that. And your team should feel that way too.
Yeah.
I always say to our team, they always laugh because they think I'm calling them stupid last month. But I'm not. I'm saying how much smarter you are this month. Like that's your team should feel like that.
Yeah.
Like they should look at themselves and be like, oh my God, I am progressing so fast and so much that like this is obviously the right place for me to be.
If you could take all the people in your communities who are at the starting phase and they're looking at the horizon of like challenges in front of them, what are 3 skills that you wish you could just immediately download into their minds?
To overcome early stage challenges, just so I don't forget them while I'm thinking I'm going to say something out loud, just so you can remember, just in case I forget them. But focus, confidence, and belief. That's kind of confidence, I guess. I'm going to go with focus and confidence. So the skills of focus, what happens at the start is that you're not confident. So if you try something, it's your idea and you try it and it doesn't really work, you start doing another idea, then you get a backup idea and you end up doing like early stage businesses are doing 10 things. And then like I met one the other day was like, oh, and I signed up to do an MBA. And what the fuck are you doing an MBA for? It's like, you're doing 6 things, you're doing them all wrong. And now you're doing an MBA. And he was doing the MBA because he thought, oh, that'll teach me how to do this better. It does not, I assure you. But if you understand as an early stage business that it's the focus on one thing that makes that thing work. If you just do whatever you focus on will work. If you focus on sales, which is what you should be focusing on at the start, because you can do nothing without money. So you need the money. So sales is first. If you focus on sales, you will make sales. If you focus on operations, your operations will get better. You can't focus on all the things because you're either only one person or your team at the start might be very junior or you don't have a team, whatever it may be. But you just need to go through what are the most important things I need to solve? What are my biggest problems? And you just need to do nothing but focus on one at a time, the most important, and go down the list. So focus is crucial for early stage business. And trust me, it's amazing when you hear how much they're doing because one thing's not working, so they start doing 6 others to see which one works. That doesn't work. It just means you're doing 6 things shit. The other one is, what I say, confidence or belief?
You say confidence.
It's the same thing.
You said focus and confidence.
Yeah. Well, confidence is that at the start of your business, like at the start of Cub, every time something went wrong, I thought, oh my God, it's the end of my company. I suck. Like, we're done. Literally, it's how I felt. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to go die now. Like, I'm done. And after time, you realize, wait a second. Like, nothing's happening. Like, we're still here. Like, after time, you're like, you build confidence that there is always a solution. And even if you don't find the solution, you're still not done. Like, everything still works. Like, you'd be surprised how much can go wrong in a company and the company keeps working. Like, it's actually surprising. So you need to have the confidence. You need to have the confidence that you need to have the self-belief that you can actually solve every problem and adversity. And it's that belief in yourself that I can do this. Like, if you have that, you're 90% of the way there. The problem is people don't have that at the start because they haven't actually proven to themselves that they can do it. So, they haven't overcome so many adversities that they're just Teflon. Right now, a T-Rex could bite a hole in the ceiling of the clubhouse and I'd be like, man, fuck, whatever. Like, we'll have outdoor networking. It doesn't really, and we got a fucking T-Rex. How many networking companies have a T-Rex? It's also cool. So, but at the start, that would have been game over, So it's focus and self-belief. Those are the 2 most important things I think that an early stage business could do, other than surrounding yourself. I mean, it's always the same, but surround yourself with the right people. The most important thing you can do as an early stage business person is be with either other early stage business people further down the line than you, like people in your industry. Like, I mean, everything I say is obviously going to come back to networking. So I'm trying to make it not about that. But having a strong network also gives you all the others. Because if you've got a strong network and you come to them with your problem, they'll be like, don't worry, you should have seen what happened to me at the start. I was like, okay, I'm a bit normal. I can do this then. That someone else happened. So it solves it, or they tell you how to solve it.
Well, a community can help you focus on what to focus on and how to feel confident about what you're doing. Like even when I was at an event recently, a woman there had a question about 3 options she was considering, and everyone pounced on it should be this one option. And then she walked out of that meeting with a ton of confidence. Okay, I just got to go focus on that because all these successful people said that's the thing to focus on. So I think, yeah, even just having a community to help kind of nudge you on the thing you should focus on can help.
But you know what's funny about that example? She could have chosen any of the 3 and it would have been the right thing.
True.
There is no one path. Like, there's never going to be a situation where it's like, okay, I've got to choose correct because if I choose wrong, I'm done. That literally is never the case. You could literally do any of them and it will work. All that she got from that was confidence to choose one. She got the help to choose one. But no matter what you choose, there's still, like, for every play you make, there's a new play. You know, you there's no one path to success. I keep saying that, but it's true. Like, you can go into any direction and find success that way. It's just maybe getting help on which direction I should go in, but normally that should be you. Like, what direction do you want to go in?
Dude, this has been incredible. One more direction I want to go in together.
I feel like I had too much coffee. I'm just bang.
No,
bro.
I'm
I'm about to shoot
energy,
through the
man.
ceiling. My coffee's just kind of calmed down now.
We
I
can
feel
get
it. I'm
we
like,
can
oh,
get you
I
a-
took a sip. It was cold. I was like, oh, thank God.
We can get you a refill if you need it. So a friend of mine, and the CEO of Culture Kings, sorry for the name drop, Simon Beard, says 1 + 1 = 11. For you, what's the value of collaborating in business with people? And from my understanding, Mark Boris is a part of Cub.
Mhm.
When you're combining forces with 2 enormous networks, what have you seen happen because of that?
You mean what have I seen happen when collaborating with Mark?
Yeah. So has that been a superpower of yours, collaborating with the right players in business?
Well, yes, but I gave them a reason to collaborate with me. You know, Mark's. I'm blessed to have a lot of people like Mark. I mean, Mark is a very good friend of me. He's been so amazing to me. He's one of the biggest supporters in Australia for Australia. He's probably the biggest supporter of Australian business in the country. Like the benefits of me having Mark's support are literally endless. I don't even know all of them because there'd be so many. But at the end of the day, if I wasn't worth collaborating with, Mark would not be collaborating with me. Neither would the other. I'm lucky to have many people like Mark in my world, and who support me, who have either invested in me with time or money or whatever it may be. I have many people like that, many mentors. But the reality, if I didn't give them something to mentor, they wouldn't mentor. You know, and so yes, I love Simon's a smart guy, and 1 + 1 = 11 is a great way to put it. You know, me coming to Mark does equal 11. I'd argue it equals 1100. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get that unless you are someone and then you prove that you're someone that is worth collaborating with, whether that be collaborating with another company, another community, a mentor, an investor, a relationship, like a network expansion. These are collaborations. If you're not someone that people want to collaborate with, they won't collaborate. And the more collaborative you would become, like the more appealing you become to collaborate with, the bigger your collaborations get. The bigger your collaborations get, the 1 + 1 = like I said, not 11, 1100. You know, it increases. So I really think the lesson there is, it is your job to make sure that you are someone that people want to collaborate with. And to do that, you need to work super hard, sacrifice so much, and build something and achieve something that people respect and see future value in. And be a good person.
I just love how much passion you have for what you do and how much you care about people and how you truly care about this industry and trying to give a platform for people to connect with.
I love business owners. I literally am obsessed with them. If there was a fight on the street and there was a business owner and a non-business owner, I'd choose the business owner. You know, I'd back them up because I love them. And I love everyone. But in life, you have to choose a group of people to serve. And I didn't choose my company. I didn't say, I'm going to start a networking company.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I was confused as to what to do. And so I thought, who do I want to serve? who are the people that I idolize? And I idolize the business people. So I serve them. Like I want to serve them. That's who I want to serve. And while, as people, we're good people, you want to serve everybody, but the reality is you can't. So, I'm passionate about serving business people because that's my little niche that I'm able to have an impact on. I can't impact everybody. No one can.
How can people reach out and connect with you?
Well, if you're a business owner, you can download the BOA app from the App Store. You can message me directly on BOA. I'd love, whether you're a business owner or you're about to start your business, you're thinking about a business, BOA's for entrepreneurs of all stages to be able to connect and meet each other. And you can message me directly on BOA. And my Instagram is maybe the.danielhakim.
We'll put it up in the links.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might not have a dot. I don't know. To be honest, I don't really use my Instagram that much. Get me on BOA. But yeah, I love meeting business people, and if anyone wants to connect, it'd be my pleasure.
Dan, we went down some cool rabbit holes together. I love your energy, and I'm really appreciative of you giving us some of your time, and we'd definitely love to have you back in the future.
I love it. And everyone should also follow at BOA app on Instagram and at Club United Business on Instagram. They're awesome accounts too.
Yeah, guys, definitely check them out. These guys are doing phenomenal things with their communities, and I do believe it's in alpha as an app right now, but it's going to be going live.
No, they can download it now. To be honest, we're just not promoting it. So we're in thing, but we still got thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs on it to test it. It's live. You can go on the App Store, type BOA app. It's blue, light blue. You can get on it, and honestly, if you're an early stage business owner, it has the potential to change your life and your business.
Wonderful. Guys, we'll put all the links in the info tab below, and check these guys out. Jump in the community. You'll love it as much as I am.
And I'm so grateful that you had me on today. I love everything you do. You guys are the best. You guys are the best at what you're doing. And I get so much inspiration from you. So I'm so grateful to have.
Credit to the team, man. These guys make this magic happen.
Yeah, these guys are animals. Bunch of psychopaths.
Yeah, this
even the way he sits.
Yeah,
he sits smart.
The sets, the equipment, the chairs, everything. Like, this is the team, man. I was like, that looks cool.
Oh, you must be so proud. You really must be proud.